Incredibly, this is what a Motte and Bailey Castle probably looked like nearly 1,000 years ago at the time of the Norman Conquest. This is a truly amazing castle, recreating as authentically as possible a Norman wooden castle and buildings that would have stood on this site just after the conquest in 1066, complete with animals wandering around, a recreated church and a hall. It also has a siege tower, water wheel, ducking stool, stocks, gallows and a battering ram, to name but a few things, let alone the ghosts, dinosaurs and modern toy museum. There is even a piece of Norman wall still standing on the original earthworks. This is Mountfitchet Castle in Essex. This video aims to provide a brief history, context and visiting tips for Mountfitchet Castle. I aim to visit and make short videos on many castles across the country in addition to my regular ones, so please like, subscribe and click the alert bell for future releases. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images. Mountfitchet Castle is located here in Essex, about 2 miles from the M11, close to Stansted Airport and not far from Cambridge and London. On this map from Historic England, the red shaded area is the castle, which is a Grade 2 listed building and a scheduled ancient monument. Interestingly, Historic England referred to it as Stansted Castle, as another place it's also been called Stansted Mountfitchet Castle and just Mountfitchet Castle. The castle is described as a Motte and Bailey design, but also as a ringwork and Bailey. Ringwork and Bailey might be more accurate as the mound isn't actually that high. Although a Norman castle was built here, archaeology suggests that it was previously been an Iron Age hill fort, then a Roman signals fort, before becoming a Saxon and Viking settlement. For context and to get an idea of just how old this site is, this is a list of monarchs from the present King Charles III, going back to William I, William the Conqueror. Well, as far as we know, the castle would have been constructed soon after the Norman Conquest, during the reign of William I. However, in 1215, King John, of Robin Hood fame, attacked the castle and damaged it and lay it to ruins until the current reconstruction was completed in an astonishing 1980. At a point before 1215, the wooden castle was replaced by stone, and this is what remains of it now. It is likely that the castle, once abandoned, was robbed of stone by the locals, and some can probably still be found in the locality. There are lots of good touches to this castle. On entering the site and coming to the ditch just outside the castle wall, it has the stakes in the ground, which would have made assault more difficult. This is the approach to the main gate. It has sound effects and a recreation of the defensive features.
You down there, halt! State your name before being allowed to pass this point.
Here is a map of the site. We've just come in through here, the main gate. Looking at the site, it does look as far as possible to be authentic, and what I really like is the good signage that explains things. For instance, this one is on charcoal burning next to the charcoal burner. What is really interesting is that historians and archaeologists work with craftspeople to create this site. It includes using locally sourced oak and reeds, incidentally used for the roofs. The plaster used on the walls was made of animal hair and manure, as it was then. And in order to locate the buildings, geophysics surveys were carried out to assess the areas of highest activity, and that was assumed that's where the buildings would go. There is so much to see here. I will just pick out a couple of places. The church and graveyard were very interesting, and I learned the saying, "the weak go to the wall," actually comes from these old churches, when the poor and the sick were made to sit up against the wall. whilst the Baron enjoyed a raised platform in the middle of the church to avoid drafts. This is an interesting little shot of a peahen with her chicks wandering through the graveyard. Just outside the church there is a recreation of a fertility chair. What's even more interesting, there's also a set of instructions. Going into the inner area, we come to the Grand Hall, seen here from the outside, and then the inside. In this compound, we can also see the herb garden and the stables. There is also an exhibit on the more gruesome side of medieval life.
Move up and along the passageway to travel back in time more than 1,000 years.
There have been rumours of ghosts on this site long before the reconstruction of the castle, so a haunted manor has been created just above the museum, which incidentally is next to the dinosaurs. If you're of a certain age, the museum is actually really interesting, as there are many toys from before the 1980s. I certainly recognised a few. Visiting tips. The castle is well signposted from the M11, with car parking directly outside. This is the approach by road. If coming by rail, it is right next to Stansted Mountfitchet railway station. The castle is privately owned and there is an admission charge which was £16 when I visited in 2023. There are toilets, cafe and shop on site, and it is open most of the year, though please check the website for details. I came expressly to see the castle, but was also surprisingly impressed by the museum. I have for many years used my imagination to see what a wooden Motte and Bailey Castle might have looked like, and it was absolutely fantastic to see an authentic recreation of what might have been. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting. Links to more videos can be found at the end. Please like, click alerts for future releases and subscribe. Brought to you by Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.